Good morning and happy Monday. So today what we're going to do is we're going to continue the work that we did last week, working on these cells here, trying to figure out how, instead of copying and pasting, we can automatically take apart the contents of the cell and split them up. So we worked on the left function last week. So here you see the left function, and what it's doing is it's looking in cell A1 and it's stripping off the first character that it finds in A1, which is fine until you get down to row 10, where it's actually going to strip off the first two characters that it finds, and so on. So if I had a number that was 3 digits, I would change this 2 here to be 3 so that it would strip off 3 characters. All of this is great, but it only solves half the problem. We now need to strip off the rest of the text. The problem is we don't know in each case how long the rest of the text is. And so what the first thing we need to do is use the length function in order to be able to determine how long the total length of the cell is. So the total number of characters in the cell. So we're going to start with our equal sign, and notice that I can type into the cell. I could also be typing into the formula bar. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to put in LEN for length, and I'm going to open up the parentheses, and it's going to ask me, the argument it wants is, where is the cell that you want me to do this in? And so in this case, the cell is A1. And I'm going to close the parentheses. Remember, you always have to have matching parentheses open and closed. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the enter button or the green check mark up here. And it's going to return the number of characters, excluding spaces, in this cell. That's great, but now what about all the rest of these cells? Well, it turns out that's quite simple. All we need to do is copy this cell, this function in this cell, down to the rest of the cells. So if you notice, there's a tiny little box here. I'm going to position my cursor over it till my cursor turns into a plus sign, and I am going to pull. And I'm going to get the length of each of these cells. So again, it's going to vary by cell, but what it's doing is it's going to A5 in this case, and it's just counting the number of characters in the cell. Again, excluding the spaces. That's great. Now we know exactly how many characters are in each cell. We also know how many characters we need to exclude from the right function. So again, in this case, we need to exclude the number 1, the number 2, the number 9, number 10. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, in cell C1, I'm going to put in equals. Again, we start the function with an equals, and I'm going to type in right. I'm going to open the parentheses. And again, Excel is asking me, well, where is it you want me to do this? Excel is really very logical. So it's asking you, okay, well, where is it you want me to do this? So you're going to click on A1. You could also type it in. Then you're going to put in a comma. That's going to separate the arguments. And now Excel is asking you, well, how many characters do you want me to strip off? So this is where the magic of the length function is going to come in. So we know that the total number of characters in the cell is 15. We know that the number of characters we want to exclude is 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, take what's in D1 and subtract 1 from that. In other words, giving me 14 characters starting from the right. And I'm going to close the parentheses, hit the green check mark, and voila. Now, the beauty of this is, again, I'm going to use that little fill box here, and I'm going to pull down all the way, and we're great until we get to row 10. In row 10, our formula breaks down because we've only told it to take 17 characters minus 1. So it's picking up 16, counting from the right, which is fine, except that actually the number is 2 characters long here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to change this to 2, and we're going to click the check mark, and now it looks correct. And we're going to copy this down one more time. And now we have done this in an automated fashion. There are even easier, not easier, but other ways to do this so that you don't have to change the number of characters here, but to keep it simple for today, I'm actually just showing you how the concept works. So voila, now you have taken this cell that had these numbers and titles smashed together, and you have separated them out into 2 different columns. See you next time.